Hello, my name is Gina, and my presentation focuses on events displaying discrimination and racism towards immigrants, such as the immigration travel ban, still prevalent in the 21st century that clearly show the need for reform on immigration policies. My thesis is the immigration system in the US is broken and in dire need of reform. It seems as though broken is an appropriate way to define the immigration system, as it has merely become a system of misaligned incentives and ineffective regulations, punishing those that desire financial stability and economic opportunity by only ripping apart families and communities. Since the time you were assigned to read court cases, I was immediately pulled towards the case of the International Refugee Assistance Project versus Trump, as it was a prominent topic on the news, as well as a very controversial issue that undeniably depicted discrimination against immigrants. Although I'm a United States citizen, I come from a family of immigrants and felt like I could more deeply relate and connect to the topic. I also questioned whether the president actually possessed the power to ban people of certain races or religions, but realized through writing my research paper that this was actually not the first time that this type of prejudice had been practiced. For example, the Immigration Act of 1924 and President Franklin D. Roosevelt's infamous Executive Order 9066 that led to the creation of Japanese internment camps. Like the two previous examples, President Trump's Executive Order 13769 and his successor, Executive Order 13780, does not specifically reference the races they are discriminating against, and yet all of them are practically no different to how the Nazis registered Jews during World War II. I will specify more similarities between the three events and how President Trump is repeating a shameful history that is distinctly motivated by animus towards a specific religion and race. Like Trump's travel ban, the Immigration Act of 1924, also known as the Oriental Exclusion Act, did not specifically identify races or religions to be banned, but used the phrase aliens ineligible for citizenship as a code word to stop immigration from Asia. The picture on the left shows President Coolidge nonchalantly signing the Immigration Act, along with some appropriation bills. Similarly, President Roosevelt's executive order also began with a travel ban, that was then followed by the surveillance of Japanese religious and cultural organizations due to the attack on Pearl Harbor that eventually had all people of Japanese ancestry forcibly thrown into internment camps, even though 2/3 of these people were actually already United States citizens. President Roosevelt's executive order was deemed constitutional by the Supreme Court in 1944, that then gave the Secretary of War power to prescribe military areas in such places and of such extent as he or the appropriate military commander may determine, from which any or all persons may be excluded. The immigration ban is stipulated in Executive Orders 13769 and 13780 that restricted travel to the United States by residents of 7 Muslim-majority countries and was issued on January 27, 2017. President Trump stated that the ban was designed to help prevent terrorist attacks because of the attack on 9/11, as well as the predominance of ISIS attacks in the previous years. Visas are also canceled, and people from not just the specified countries were fearful to travel outside the United States, in case they were not allowed to re-enter. This travel ban is unconstitutional, as it violates protected rights such as the First and Fifth Amendment, and created much controversy and debate. The International Refugee Assistance Project versus Trump was a court case filed by the American Civil Liberties Union and other partner organizations on September 24th in order to challenge President Trump's executive order regarding the travel ban as it violated the Constitution, including the First Amendment and Fifth Amendment. On the other hand, the case of State of Hawaii versus Trump was filed by Hawaii Attorney General Douglas S. Chin on February 3, 2017, against President Trump's executive order 13769 that barred legal immigrants, visitors, and refugees from 7 majority Muslim countries from entering the United States. Hawaii argued that they possessed the interest in protecting its residents, its employers, its educational institutions, and its sovereignty against illegal actions of President Donald J. Trump. Hawaii stated that it was the nation's most ethnically diverse state, and that the executive order was tearing apart families and violated the First Amendment, Fifth Amendment, the Administrative Procedure Act, and the Immigration and Nationality Act. The examples all provided in the previous slides violated the First Amendment Establishment Clause as it exhibited the acts of prohibition of government establishment of religion and the Fifth Amendment's guarantee of equal treatment under the law as well as equal protection and due process rights. It has become necessary to follow the course for long-term reform of the U.S. immigration system. We need to look beyond recent legislative debates and focus on new immigration policies that best serve the nation's interests, honor its liberal democratic ideals, promote the full participation of immigrants, and exploit the opportunities offered to immigrants. Family unity should also remain an essential goal of U.S. immigration policy and a pillar of the U.S. immigration system. The United States should also provide win-win immigration policies that both serve the nation's interests and also benefit migrant-sending states. Executive Order 13769 not only suspended refugee admissions but also halted entry of nationals from the 7 Muslim-majority countries. The whole purpose of the executive order was to protect the United States against the entry of terrorists, yet it recognized no distinction between terrorists and those victimized by them. Another interesting fact about the executive order on the travel ban is that it also blocked travel to the United States to the country of Chad, North Koreans, as well as certain Venezuelan government officials. I chose the quote, "The order's presumption that a community constituted by a majority non-Christian population represented a threat to national security had consequences," by Williams and Yaffe. I thought this quote accurately represented how discrimination against another race or religion had its consequences, such as President Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066 that forcibly held 120,000 people with Japanese ancestry in internment camps. This quote can also be connected to President Trump's immigration travel ban, in which he issued due to fear of threat to national security regarding terrorism that clearly had consequences, as families were separated and innocent people were paying the price. The source is credible because the publisher is The Washington Post, which is a highly established newspaper that is the source of national news on topics ranging from politics and business to entertainment. The authors are also both professors at highly respected universities. Duncan Williams is an associate professor of religion and East Asian languages and cultures at the University of Southern California, and Gideon Yaffe is a professor of law, philosophy, and psychology at Yale University. As professors of different subjects, Williams and Yaffe provided different perspectives, such as how the travel ban related to Japanese internment due to law-related aspects, as well as connecting the travel ban to similar events throughout history, such as the Immigration Act of 1924. I will be using the source in my paper to establish similarities between these events to the travel ban, and seeing as it was written just last year, the source is current and can be helpful in updated information regarding the topic. My research paper includes examples of the Immigration Act of 1924 and President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066 that led to Japanese internment camps that can be compared to President Trump's immigrant travel ban. The court cases of International Refugee Assistance Project versus Trump and State of Hawaii versus Trump are also included and explain how the immigrant travel ban violates the Constitution and its amendments and essentially leads to the idea of needing to reform the immigration system of the United States.